morning, and thank you so much for joining us. Good afternoon in Ankara. As you reminded me, it's very happy to have you with us today.
Thank you very much, Norman. It's our pleasure.
Could you tell us a little bit about the infrastructure market in Turkey? I mean, it's one of the most dynamic infrastructure markets in the world, and so we really, we always rate you all very highly in terms of countries where there are opportunities to do infrastructure business. So it'd be great to get a sense from you of what's going on in the market now.
Sure thing. You are right. Turkish infrastructure market is one of the most dynamic one across the globe. In my opinion, there are two fundamental factors that create such a vibrant and dynamic market. The first factor is the economic rationale, which necessitates robust investment in infrastructure for keeping the sustainable economic development going and enhancing competitiveness and efficiency. The second factor is the strong political leadership, whose commitment to public service has spurred investment in physical and social infrastructure. So these are two major factors affecting the dynamism of the market, and these two factors, as a matter of fact, have been complementary to each other and eventually created a dynamic and vibrant infrastructure market. So if you come back to the economic rationale, as you know, Turkey is a developing economy with a large, young, and dynamic population. Half of this population is under age 32. Turkey's 85 million population is growing with an additional 1 million people every year. So when we couple this with rapid urbanization process across the country, it has resulted in more than 20 urban centers with population over 1 million people. So connecting all these urban areas requires massive investments in communication, energy, and transport infrastructure. Similarly, our economy has also further integrated with the global economy. Infrastructure development has become even more important for Turkey to keep competitiveness in terms of accessing international markets and attracting new foreign direct investments. So on the other hand, Turkish economy has been growing with an annual average real GDP growth rate of 5% past 18 years, and the economy has more than tripled in the meantime, elevated Turkey to 13th largest economy in the world in terms of purchasing power parity. Infrastructure investments have been vital to sustain this robust growth momentum and meeting the needs of the business and the needs of the public. So when we come to the political leadership aspect, effective political leadership and commitment to improve the citizens' living standards and offer them decent public services have created some of the state-of-the-art infrastructures in energy, healthcare, and transportation. And compared to the 2 or 3 decades earlier, Turkey has achieved political stability over the past 18 years. This gave government a strong mandate to deliver these promises that are made to the public. So the strong leadership that prioritize infrastructure projects, allocate necessary resources, and with effective execution, increase the density of the market. So having said that, although we have done tremendous improvement in the country's whole infrastructure layout, there are still quite a room for improvement and potential that is needed to be seized. So the market in the long run will be keep on being vibrant and dynamic.
That's very good. No, we really appreciate that, and especially some of your healthcare investments, hospitals, et cetera, are really well known and models around the world. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? I mean, one of the things that's interesting is that the viewers really like to figure out who they're talking to. Where did you grow up? Where did you study? What did you study? How did you get to where you are?
Well, I've been with the investment office for about 10 years now. During this time, I have worked at various capacities within the investment office. By the way, let me take the opportunity to briefly introduce my organization. The investment office is the official investment promotion agency of Turkey, attached to the presidency of the Republic of Turkey, and we directly report to the president himself. What we do basically is to promote Turkey's investment climate, but more importantly is to provide support and assistance services to the investors before, during, and after they enter to Turkey. And for the past 2 years, I have had the honor to work as the vice president of this esteemed organization. I completed my undergraduate studies in international relations from Bilkent University in Ankara, Turkey, and I received an MBA degree from Lubin School of Business at Pace University in New York. And I was born and raised in Istanbul and currently residing in Ankara.
That's fantastic. I've been to both Ankara and Istanbul, and they're fantastic cities. Really, really enjoyable. One of the things that I wanted to ask you is, you know, for all of us, I think 2020 has been a very difficult year. How do you see 2021, and what are your major priorities? Because, you know, for instance, in the States, a lot of the focus is probably going to be on economic recovery. And, you know, but it'd be interesting to figure out what your priorities are. And, you know, we always think in terms of projects. And so some of the key projects that are important for you in the coming year as well.
Well, first of all, I sincerely hope that a vaccine is going to develop as soon as possible in order to contain this COVID-19 pandemic. Though it is too early to celebrate, there are some major developments in this regard. I hope that in the end of this year or early the first quarter of the year, we will see some major results in terms of containing this problem. While we are cautiously optimistic, we are preparing as the government our strategy and determining our priorities according to the new normal after this pandemic, which has exposed, as a matter of fact, the weak links in the global value chains and supply networks across the globe. And we believe that infrastructure investments could play a key role in post-pandemic economic recovery, as we have seen how infrastructure has been critical during the pandemic. We see the yields of our investments in healthcare sector. The major city hospitals have been playing a critical role, while we are, as a country, smoothly getting rid of or passing this post-pandemic period. However, many governments may also, including Turkey, face some budgetary restrictions, constraints. This is why our government will have a balanced approach in the year 2021. Okay. So we are allocating significant amounts for public investments, as well as promoting private sector investments and making use of PPP model. By this way, we are targeting inclusive growth with increased investments by providing efficiency, effectiveness in spending. The next year have already been planned, and approximately 14 billion US dollars for almost 3,000 projects are being allocated. So this means around more than 80% nominal increase when we compare it to year 2020. Especially transportation, R&D, healthcare, and education sectors will have will see the biggest jumps compared to other sectors. As for the public-private partnership projects, the worldwide PPP experiences for the provision of infrastructure reveal that faster construction and earlier gains for the economy. Efficient, competitive, innovative, creative operation resulting synergy are some of the basic tenets of PPP models. As Turkey, we are believers of PPP models. So we still believe that this model will be extra important in the post-COVID era. Beginning from 2021, our government is planning to procure, for instance, around 900 kilometers long highway projects with BOT model till 2023. Similarly, it is also aimed to complete almost 4,300 kilometers long high-speed rail network till the year 2023. Wow. So once the ongoing projects are completed, the high-speed rail network will reach around more than 5,500 kilometers long. So this is almost a 5-fold increase from the current level. In addition to these two main areas, there is also significant project portfolio in some other areas as well. For instance, in the pipeline, we have 74 new solar power plants, in addition to some ports and airports. There are also privatization opportunities for the state-owned hydroelectric power plants. So in the following years, the infrastructure sector will be picking up again.
That's very good. It's very complete too. I mean, it sounds like you're using public investment and private investment to really promote economic recovery and growth at the same time. So that's phenomenal. And we look forward to continuing to work with you on that. Can you tell us a little bit about, one of the things that's impressed me on my visits to Turkey and other countries in the region is how active Turkish contractors have been all over the world over the last 10 years. It's a really strong ecosystem you've built. They have a tremendous reputation. What do you see in terms of how Turkish contractors can continue to compete in Eurasia, and are there any opportunities or downsides in terms of China's Belt and Road from your point of view?
Well, you partially answered my question very well. Thank you for that, Norman. But to answer this question, first we should look at the past performance of Turkish contractors, what they have done in the past. Overseas contracting services makes a significant contribution to our economy in terms of business volume, foreign capital inflow, technology transfer, and additional employment. Since the first international overseas contract realized in 1972 to this date, Turkish contractors have undertaken over 10,000 projects worth more than 410 billion US dollars in 127 different countries. So my first suggestion, for the Turkish contractors is to do what they have been done in the past.
Right.
Keep the good job going. So when you look at the geographical distribution of these projects, the bulk of these projects have been realized in Russia, Central Asia, and Middle East countries. So naturally, the natural direction of the Belt and Road Initiative areas. So this geographic allocation is important because it indicates how Turkey is taking advantage of its historical and cultural ties with these countries in this region. And as I said, for the Belt and Road initiatives, we see these expertise as an opportunity. So Turkey has a strategic location in the region, and use this strategic location, turn into a connection point for international trade routes. And secondly, we have also strong presence in Eurasia with proved track records of contracting services. Moreover, as I said, our historic and cultural ties with the region makes it easier for Turkish contractors to do business in this region. Today, as a matter of fact, many international companies are eager to do business with Turkish contractors
right.
in third countries due to their competitive position, their connection in those regions. They have Turkish companies have strong and long-lasting relationship with the clients, high governmental officials in the host countries. Turkish entrepreneurs have always been risk takers. They have this type of attitude. In some markets, these are very important, critical aspects we have. These are some of the competitive advantages of Turkish contracting firms. And these advantages will continue to keep them at the top in the future, in my assessment. And as the Turkish government, we will also continue to support Turkish contractors to position and strengthen them in the international area and increase the export of Turkish construction products and their matchmake with the international foreign construction firms as partners as well. One of them, as a matter of fact, one of the most prominent subjects in the intergovernmental meetings that we have has always been potential collaboration in infrastructure sector. So reputation of Turkish contractors combined with the experience of local contractors in the host countries has created a win-win situation and helped Turkish constructions sector expand globally. And we see that this trend will be like this in the near future as well.
That's very good. Yeah, no, and that's my impression as well. And you even have Turkish contractors active in the U.S. Infrastructure market. So it's pretty fantastic what you've been able to produce. One last question, if you have a moment. One of the things that I'm really interested in is how you see potentially U.S. participation. I'm talking to you from Washington, D.C., and we have a new president-elect, and so we'll have a new approach to the world pretty soon. What do you see in terms of U.S. participation in Turkish infrastructure? Is it investment? Is it technology? Is it equipment? What's the best way for U.S. Firms in the U.S. in general to engage with you?
Well, there are many ways. There are many opportunities which may attract U.S. companies from a variety of industries that cross-cut infrastructure investments. But let's focus on the opportunities in the PPP projects. First, any relevant US company or infrastructure fund may directly invest in PPP projects as an equity partner. Stable cash flow in the long run and low risk profile of PPP projects make them quite feasible and bankable and match the return expectations of such infrastructure funds. The other one is a US construction firm may be the contractor for the project and constructing facilities by itself or partnering with some Turkish companies as well. Most of our projects, such as hospital projects with a couple of thousand bed capacity, or consider constructing the world's largest suspension bridge. Right. All these projects are pushing the construction technology to its limits. So hence, creating significant opportunities for international expertise, including US companies, which can provide, which can have a competitive edge in providing the technical expertise. So another option, for instance, in PPP projects, approximately 80% of the CapEx is financed through financial institutions. The investment-friendly PPP ecosystem has attracted a variety of international lenders to Turkey in recent years. International financial institutions have lent PPP projects significant amounts with favorable rates and longer terms. So this enabled Turkey to reach financial closure with high capex projects in relatively short amount of time. So we would like to diversify our funding options, our portfolio, by attracting more financing from US as well. So finally, provision of equipment and materials is another great way to attract major US firms to participate in Turkish infrastructure market. For instance, in PPP hospital projects, medical equipment and furnishing accounts approximately 15 to 20% of the capex. So in addition to many construction supplies, also are imported from foreign countries. When we consider the fact that average capex of, for instance, the PPP hospital is around 580 million US dollars, or PPP highways is around $2.3 billion projects. Provisions of such construction materials and equipments alone pose a great opportunity for US-based firms. In fact, there are some success stories showcasing cooperation and partnership between the US entities and local sponsors of some PPP projects. For example, GE Healthcare signed an agreement with local partners to sponsor building health campuses in Turkey. Some of these projects are financially supported by Overseas Private Investment Corporation, which has been recently transformed in the US International Development Finance Corporation. Many international players, many international companies are taking part in the infrastructure sector, in many areas of infrastructure sector. It is a lucrative sector, and it will be keep on being a lucrative sector in the near future, because at the end of the day, necessity is the mother of all inventions, but necessity is also mother of all investments. So this sums up my perspective towards the entryways for US companies.
That's very good and really helpful because, I think we have a very high opinion of Turkish infrastructure, the challenge that you all have overcome and the infrastructure ecosystem that you're building, not only in Turkey, but throughout the whole region. So congratulations on all your work and look forward to seeing you. And I hope you stay healthy and stay successful.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to meeting you. And I also wish everybody healthy days.
Very good. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Have a good evening.